Have you ever held a coin so simple, yet so powerful in your hand? A coin that looks ordinary to most people, but hides within it a story of history, value, rarity, and mystery. The 1967 one dime is one such coin, and today, we will unlock every detail about it, from its creation to its hidden secrets, and why collectors still chase it even today. The story of the 1967 one dime begins in a time when the United States was going through change and transformation. It was the late 1960s, a period marked by cultural shifts, political events, and economic challenges, and coins played a surprising role in reflecting this era. The 1967 dime, also known as the Roosevelt dime, is part of the long-running Roosevelt dime series, which began in 1946 in honor of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away in 1945. Roosevelt was beloved for his leadership during the Great Depression and World War II, and also because of his association with the March of Dimes campaign, which aimed to fight polio. Therefore, his portrait was chosen to replace the Mercury dime, which had been in circulation since 1916. The 1967 Roosevelt dime was minted at a time when the United States Mint had made an important shift away from silver coins just a few years earlier. Before 1965, dimes along with quarters and half dollars were composed of 90% silver and 10% copper, but with rising silver prices and coin shortages, the mint decided to eliminate silver from dimes and quarters starting in 1965. So by the time the 1967 dime was produced, it was already part of the new clad composition consisting of outer layers of copper nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gave the coin a silvery appearance, but with no precious metal content. Its diameter measured 177 millimeters with a weight of 2,268 grams and a reeded edge, making it look and feel very similar to the earlier silver dimes, but with less intrinsic value. One of the most important historical aspects of the 1967 dime is that during this time, the mint suspended the use of mint marks in order to discourage coin hoarding. People had been collecting and saving coins with mint marks, believing they would become scarce. So from 1965 through 1967, no dimes bore a mint mark. This makes all 1967 dimes appear as if they were minted at the Philadelphia facility, even though millions were struck at multiple facilities. This small decision by the mint reflects the unusual environment of coinage in the mid-1960s, where shortages and changes in composition made coins both practical tools of commerce and subjects of public fascination. When we look closely at the design of the 1967 dime, we see John R Sinnock's work on the obverse, featuring the left-facing profile of President Roosevelt with the inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust," along with the gate 1967 and the initials JS for Sinnock, though they were sometimes mistakenly thought to stand for Joseph Stalin during the Cold War era, sparking rumors that were unfounded. The reverse side of the coin shows a torch in the center flanked by an olive branch on the left and an oak branch on the right, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. The inscriptions include "United States of America e pluribus unum" and "one dime." This design has remained consistent throughout decades, making it one of the most stable designs in US coinage. From a numismatic perspective, the 1967 dime may seem common because hundreds of millions were produced, and because it was not made of silver. Yet, the coin still carries historical value, and collectors are often drawn to specific varieties and conditions. While most circulated examples hold face value, only high-grade specimens, especially those in mint state condition graded Ms. 65 or higher, can attract premiums. Additionally, proof versions of the 1967 dime were issued exclusively in special mint sets rather than regular proof sets. These SMS coins have a sharper strike, smoother surfaces, and sometimes display cameo contrast between the frosted design and the mirrored background. These sets were made in relatively smaller numbers and therefore attract collector interest. In terms of historical context, the 1967 dime reflects the larger story of America transitioning away from silver coinage. It represents an effort to stabilize the coin supply during a time of shortage and speculation. It also reflects how coins were not only monetary instruments, but also symbols of trust in the government and its decisions. During an uncertain economic period, this dime circulated widely in commerce, buying goods and services in an era when inflation was moderate, but social and political tensions were high. Each dime passed through the hands of ordinary Americans during the Vietnam War, during civil rights struggles, and during one of the most culturally dynamic decades in American history, making the 1967 dime a small yet meaningful artifact of its time. Collectors today value the 1967 dime not for its silver content, but for its history, for its role in the coinage system, and for the variations that exist within its mintage. When preserved in high grades, the coin can achieve significant auction prices, and coins with exceptional eye appeal or special toning are particularly desirable. Even though it is not considered rare in the traditional sense, it remains part of the narrative of United States coinage, and every coin tells a story from the hand that struck it to the pockets it traveled through. The 1967 Roosevelt dime continues to fascinate numismatists and history enthusiasts because it stands at the intersection of tradition and change. It connects the legacy of Roosevelt, the fight against polio, the artistry of Sinnock, the decisions of the mint to remove silver and mint marks, and the everyday economic lives of Americans during the 60s. Each of these threads comes together to make the coin much more than just 10 cents. It is a reflection of resilience, adaptation, and history in motion. So, when you hold a 1967 dime, you are not just holding a coin, you are holding a piece of American heritage, a symbol of economic adjustment, a tribute to a